All right, everybody, time for our final installment of the 2018 season of my three picks. Every week, me and this little item right here, we go head to head. We pick three college football games against the spread all year long. All year long, I have not trailed the coin. As a matter of fact, at one point, I think my lead was up to 6 games. That's a thing of the past because I have just come off the worst week in my entire life. I was stupid last week. I lost all 3 of those games, okay? And to compact the problem or combine the problem, compound the problem, the coin won every single game. Every single freaking one. Talking about the Apple Cup game, I had Washington State. That was a loser. Michigan, Ohio State, one of the biggest losers I've ever picked in my life. I thought the Wolverines would finally beat Urban Meyer. Didn't happen. And then I looked like I was going to cover on Notre Dame USC. USC gets a last-minute touchdown, basically, and that right there leads to 0-3. That's right, 0-3, ladies and gentlemen, any way you slice it. The coin, in the meantime, won every single game for the 3rd straight week. This little guy right here has won 9 in a row. Not only did the coin whip my butt this last week, but now the coin leads overall by 1 game entering this final week. Presently, I'm at 22 wins, 16 losses, and a push. The coin is at 23 wins, 15 losses, and a push. We are going live. That way, there's absolutely no trickery here. You know I didn't retake the show just so I can get at least one disagreement to try to catch the coin. So what you're seeing now is live. This is basically how it'll work. The coin and I will pick 3 games. If the coin lands on heads, it likes the favorite. Tails, it's going to go with the underdog. And by the way, if the coin and I agree on every game, the coin will win for the season. As far as the final results of our contest, I'll go over that at the end of the show. Let's begin with the Pac-12 Championship game. Utah, for the first time ever, they're playing in the Pac-12 title game, but they got to go against the Washington Huskies. That's right, Washington, they know what it's like to win Pac-12 championships, and it didn't look like it was going to happen, but Washington, in the snow, won the Apple Cup over Washington State. Washington's got the better defense, and Utah, despite the fact that they've had an overachieving season, of course, are banged up big time. So I look for Washington to cover. On Friday night, give me the Huskies minus the 4, and here's the first flip. The coin is going to go with Utah. Lands on tails is going to go with Utah. Now let's move to Saturday and the AAC Championship. That's right, the athletic conference. We're talking about Central Florida, Josh Heupel, the Knights trying to go undefeated for a 2nd straight year, standing in their way is Memphis. And the one unique thing about the AAC Championship, the better record of the 2 teams gets to play this thing at home. So that's why it's going to be in Orlando. I know that UCF's quarterback's out, but the Knights are trying to prove to everybody that they may not make the playoff, but they're trying to prove that they're just as worthy as the Bamas, the Clemsons, the Notre Dames, Oklahomas, and the Ohio States to getting there. So I think UCF will show a strong performance, and they'll do it at home, and they'll at least get to a New Year's 6 game. So give me Central Florida minus the 3, and the coin is going to go with Central Florida. Okay. Finally, the ACC Championship. From Charlotte, you've got Clemson. Of course, all they do, just like Alabama, is appear in these. And by the way, yeah, Sandlot, great movies. That, a classic, 1993. Didn't really care for the Sandlot part 2, but number 1's awesome. Okay, killing me, Smalls. There's the bottom part of the shirt, by the way. All right, so Clemson, Pittsburgh. 2 teams that couldn't be any more different, and Clemson is a huge favorite, a massive favorite. Tigers know what it's like to not only play in the college football playoff, but 2 years ago they knew what it was like to win it, and everybody has them, with a head-to-head collision with Alabama for the national championship. Of course, you got to take care of the ACC title first. Pittsburgh's only there by default. And by the way, before we go any further, am I reading that right, Navy Thomas? Bill Snyder is going to retire? I'm not totally shocked. The guy is one of the greatest coaches of all time. You kidding me? What he did in Manhattan? Holy cow. There's no question. The greatest college football turnaround of all time. I appreciate that update. I had I had no idea that was coming. So, Bill Snyder, salute to you. You did one hell of a job at Kansas State. You should be on the Mount Rushmore as far as greatest coaches ever in the Big 12. No doubt about it. Hope he has a great retirement and hope he has good health. But let's get back to our final game, the ACC Championship, and Clemson 12-0, deserving to be in this title game. Pittsburgh is only there by default because the Coastal Division sucks donkey dicks. It's horrible. Pittsburgh, I know, is a little bit better than last year, but you saw them last week against Miami. Yeah, they look like a train wreck, and now you're asking them to give Clemson the game. It's not going to happen. I look for Clemson to cover that 27.5. So give me the Tigers minus the 27.5. And the final coin flip of the 2018 season, the coin lands on heads. It likes Clemson. So the coin and I disagreed on one game. That was the first one, Utah-Washington. It's this simple. If I win that game, then the coin and I, for the second straight year, will finish tied. We finished tied last year. If obviously Utah covers, then the coin will win out. Okay, the coin will win for the year. The way we'll break this down, as far as our future shows, of course, Saturday sometime I'll have my post game of Oklahoma, Texas, the Big 12 title game. If the Sooners win, I will have a special Sunday show. Coming up this weekend, in which we will talk about the college football playoff. If the Sooners lose, no sense in me doing a special show on Sunday. And during that special show on Sunday, I will reveal the final results between me and the coin. If there's not a Sunday show, I'll reveal the final results later on in the month on my Big 12 Bowl preview show. Boomer Sooner. And again, what were your picks for this week? You got my picks, and hopefully I can get off that train wreck called last week because I was horrendous. And the coin, by the way, has won 9 straight games. So it's been fun. We appreciate you watching all year on my 3 picks. And again, catch my post game tomorrow. And of course, if the Sooners win, we'll have a special playoff show Sunday during the 11 a.m. hour. See you next time, everybody.